Hey everybody, hope you're doing fantastic. This is Brett Tadlock, TNArtist. So today's painting, I decided to do kind of another cloudscape, kind of a cool picture I saw in a reference photo group that I'm part of in Facebook, where they give you access to paint stuff, and permission to paint stuff, I mean. So I've roughly sketched out kind of this cloud shape here, and I'm going to put some wispy ones up here and so forth, and some dark area. Kind of smeared around a little bit of paint just to kind of see how it matched up. So I'm going to try and paint with some of these here in the mid-tones of those. And that way I can kind of build up the color on it. So this canvas, let me show you this real quick. So this canvas that I'm going with here, the color is that. And it's the washi. And no decal edge, and use the paper height maps, and it's 100% scaled. And then the colors I've got here is that one, which is kind of a darkish purple kind of color. This is a little bit lighter purple, pinkish purple. This peach colored right here, which is really vibrant and bright. So I'm going to use a little bit of that and then kind of build from it, but I'll probably smear some of it out. This yellowish color that I'll use for highlights, but again I'll probably put it on and then smear it out a little bit to dull it down. And then another peach color here, a little bit different, kind of an orangish color as well. And then this is just a brown that I had. So, alright, I'm going to lay these out. I'm going to probably bounce around on tools. I don't have a specific one that I'm wanting to use right now. So, other than maybe I've got the marker here, but I may make some wispy clouds using the watercolor brush and stuff. So we'll go over all of that and just kind of keep along, and I'll try and point it out as we're doing it. Okay. So let's start with this. So we've got this right here on a layer and this on its own layer. So this is kind of the line art layer. So let's just name that real quick so I don't lose track of it. Like so. And then we'll jump over here to the just plain layer. All right. Is I'm going to kind of put in some darker color here. So I'm going to grab this color. Let's see. You'll see that that's not much darker than what's there. So I'll select this. I'll drop down a little bit. There we go. That'll work a little bit better. So I'm just going to lay this in here, and then I'll soften some of it out. I may even just go ahead and use my selection tool and just kind of fill that. I'm going to tell it to wet the layer and Control D, and then I'm going to press B to go back to the dry marker. Okay, I'm just going to soften over that a little bit, and I'm going to push 5. I'm just going to kind of soften up some of this a little bit. And actually, I didn't mean to push 5, I meant to push 4. That's okay. Just trying to get rid of some of that edge there. Keeping it real loose, like so. Now then, let's grab a little bit of this color and just kind of bring that around a little bit. Maybe start bringing it up, but let's grab the watercolor brush. See what happens if we kind of take this and put it in there a little bit. Different splatter. That down in size. I kind of like the organicness of that, so let's just kind of blow that around a little bit. And when I see what I like, which is right about there, I'll push F and fast dry it. And come back to my marker, set on 4, and just again kind of fade those into each other, just kind of smear back and forth. Anything harsh here that I don't like, I can just kind of soften. There's an edge there, so let's get rid of that. So I think that gives it kind of a neat, wispy kind of a feel. Alright, so I'll tell you what, let's repeat that process. Let's come over here a little bit. I'm just kind of using this line as my guide. I'm not overly worried about maintaining it the whole time. Alright, so push L. I'm going to put that in there. That's the wrong color. Put that in there, which again wets that layer. Now back to this one that I had. And we'll go to the water brush again. And let's just kind of really lay this in here. Matter of fact, let's kind of switch to a different splatter. So to be huge. Alright. Maybe throw in just a little bit of this brighter. Like so. Grab the blow tool. Just kind of blow it around. I like to go one direction and then back the opposite direction when doing this. I think that's going to give us kind of what we're wanting. Let's blow that around a little bit. Control D. So we can kind of put that off onto the other one. Again, I'm just kind of blowing this around, letting it do it. Then I'm going to hit 4. I'm going to hit F and kind of fast go back to my brush. And just kind of come through, break up anything I don't like. Kind of like a little drip coming down through here. That's cool. I could even grab a little bit of this darker color. Break that up a little bit. Like so. And then again with 4. Like so. There we go. So let's grab a little bit of this color here and just kind of softly kind of sketch in where we want some clouds. And then hit 4. And this bullet one and the liner one really too, but mostly this bullet one really looks like Coptic markers. You can use the chisel to get that good chisel-edge Coptic marker too, but there we go. I'm just trying to lay this in here and kind of fill in some of this here. Like so, and then push 4 and just kind of soften it into other areas. So now I'm going to grab a little bit of orange, kind of drop some of that in there because I want it to be kind of a splash of color, and I'm going to switch over to the dry one. And 4. Just kind of smear that around like so. It's just kind of a shot of color that I want to throw in there. I'm going to grab a little bit of this peach, a bit brighter, throw some of that in. Okay. Again, hit 4. We're just going to soften that. Like so. Okay. Now let's carry some of this color here over here. Tie some of this together. Like so. And then just kind of soften this together. Like so. And bring the size back down so I can kind of blend these. But having my paper tinted really helps with this, because now I can really kind of see what colors are where. You can see how thinly I'm spreading it out, because I'm seeing some of that underneath it as well. I may even do a little bit of the watercolor again. And I'm just kind of circling around, kind of scumbling, which is where you just kind of add some pressure, a little bit of light, and you just kind of scrub around. Just basically just be loose with it. Give yourself some freedom to kind of push it around, pull it around, like so. I can see it a little more. Try and use that as my guide to kind of keep everything in check. Because you know, one of the downsides with clouds is that you can make them really loose and organic, but as you make them really loose and organic, you can also lose them. So I'm trying not to lose them. They just become a blob, you know. I just want it really kind of soft and pushed around. As we build this up. Okay, all this around. Like so. Alright, so with this darker color, let's kind of lay in some of the stuff down here. I may even go ahead and switch to the bullet. It draws a little better. Just kind of start. You could also even just switch to your blending tool. You really want to get this softened. Like so. Bring that a little bit larger. Back down. Something along the lines of that. Alright, so go back to my brush. Grab a little bit of that color. I'm going to tap on that, and I'm going to bring that over to here. I want to add a little bit of this blue kind of color to it. And then I'm going to really soften it out. Push a little bit of this back around a little bit more. And then in. Go larger so I don't have as many streaks. B. And I'm going to grab that color there. I think will work. Again, just trying to out shape, using that as my guide. Just ever so slightly. Gaps here and there. Like so. Tap some of these in. We're going to make these into wispy clouds. Press in again and bring that size down. And now I'm just going to swirl it. Coming around something like that. So this is where I'm going to start looking at my edges, because I don't want everything to be soft and unfocused. So there are some edges I will leave, I mean more solid and darker and lighter, and just kind of play around. And some I will just kind of almost obliterate. Kind of that build up, and to me these colors together, these peaches and blues and purples, kind of hits for that Maxfield Parrish kind of look, which is really cool. Or NC Wyatt, they all had this kind of style that they did that I just love. Bringing this across. And so you can see how I'm kind of flattening this out here. That's what's going to give it the feel of that it's kind of receding. Okay. B. And I'm going to put it on. I'm going to smudge. So this gives you a more solid smudge than the smudge tool does. So it lets you really kind of push some of the paint around. But this is how you can start to build up different cloud layers. You can really shove around the digital ink. Just kind of lightly spread it back out. We had some real bad storms come through this weekend. It just kind of put me in the mood to paint a storm. That's how I deal with it. Alright. Pink color there. Let's see how that looks. Yeah. I'm going to blend this out quite a bit, but I'd want to start kind of building up some clouds. I'm just doing circles here, just this. And blending them back and forth into each other. I want these to really softly emerge. And it's always good to do these kind of things, you know. No matter what kind of art you want to paint and create, it's always good to kind of play around with like cloud studies and stuff like this, and lighting. See how you can kind of really pull this into itself. That feel of like punched up quite a bit. Alright. I'm going to grab a little bit of this blue. Make some of these diagonal marks. Then I'm going to switch. Go in that same direction. I'm going to add that in there. That's going to start giving that look of like paint. I mean, not paint, but rain falling down. Like so. A little bit. This as well. The same kind of thing. So we're going to have another light source here in just a second. Soften that. Sorry for my creaky chair. One of these days I'll get a new one. I'm comfortable, it's just creaky. Let's grab a little bit of this orange. Let's bring up our thing here. Just so I can kind of keep this in balance. Just some of these reds and oranges. And now let's go to 4. They kind of soften it around. So I want to give a little bit more of a orangish glow here. I'm going to grab that color. I'm going to just kind of bring some of this over and hit 4. Again, circles. Push some of this other color up into it. So take a little bit more of this color, bring it down through here. Hit 4 again. Back a little bit. That's kind of giving the look that I'm wanting. Let's add a little bit of that glow over here too. Just to kind of offset with each other a little bit. This bluish color, and then the orangish color. Like so. Let's build up a little bit more of this pink through here. And then again 4. And try not to lose what you've already done. Give it space to have it in front, and then some of it down here. Kind of push it around a little bit. That kind of helps tie them together. Push in another little bit of the dark. See how that gives that interesting bump there? So you're really looking at negative space here. Ways to make it interesting. Bring that up a little bit into it. And even that into it. Like so. This really bright yellow. Let's bring this up here. With this color. Some of this I'm going to really push back and blend away. It's kind of there. What I'm going for. Okay. I'll bring that size up. Push 4. The dark towards the light. Really kind of blend this out. Bring the size back down. Change over to N, soften it. Let's lose the line art. Just get that to play together a little bit. I want to push some of this up here. Get some of that orange. Alright, push in. Just raise back my blending tool and soften some of these. Just kind of let it fade into each other a little bit more. Like all of it. Alright, so again, just something soft. Cycle through to each other. And you can soften these as much as you want. You can keep them as harsh as you want. Whichever, whatever. I'm going to come back in and highlight some of these here in just a second. That'll really kind of pull them forward and push them back. But down here, I want to work on this a little bit more. So, having said that, let's grab this color and come over here more towards the bluish gray. I just want to add in some color that we're going to soften out, but I want to kind of keep this horizontal look. Like so. Just want to horizontal strokes, skipping some spaces here and there. Kind of blend some of this out, just to add a few light tones. Hit in. Just kind of fade these together. Like that. Let's add a little bit lighter. And let's switch over to pen. I need a little bit of taper for this. I'm just laying in again these horizontals, hitting 4, kind of smearing it. Like so. And this is where you can kind of come back in and kind of shape it. Alright, now I want to bring this up. And kind of like the marker tool, you can really push the paint around with this. I want this really kind of streaky at first, and then hit in to kind of soften it back. Like that. Now I'm going to come even brighter on this scale, and I'm going to go back to my brush. Like that. Let's make some lightning. Push in, kind of soften that off a little bit. Bring that down, kind of go along the edges. B, I'm going to push 5. Hone some of that in a little bit. I want a little bit of that glow around the edges there, so that's why I did that. Too crazy. Again, just kind of pushing this around. Get kind of a feel. And in, just kind of soften it out somewhat. Get that. Let's switch back to our brush to here. That's pretty much to white. It's going to give it that real glow. I think I'm going to grab selection tool, press T, just going to pull that up a little bit. And then in, I just want that to be raised a little bit. So I can go back to the B and add a little bit of that white just to kind of come down through here. In. That's going to give it that real there. So I just want to look at something real quick. So I'm going to make a new layer. I'm going to bring that down below that. I'm going to grab the airbrush. That's soft spray. Drag this up a little bit. I want just a hint of this through here. And a hint. Bringing it down. So because that's thinned, I can really play around with some of the color. That just kind of helps tie it together color-wise. Right-click on that and merge that down. So now, one of the things I want to do is kind of, start adding a little bit of the frosting to the cake here. So let's go with this color, our ink. Put it on one. Just kind of add in some highlights. Okay. And now I'm going to grab 4 and just the back side here. Soften. And the same with N. Just softening the back edge. It's going to make it pop. Kind of soften those into each other too. Okay. And then I'm going to go back to my ink brush, and we've got it on 4. And bring some of this around by just kind of going back and forth, going like this and then like this. So that it just kind of fades into each other there a little bit. Push in and really soften it out. Again, leaving some of that edge. See that little light play there? That's a great way. A little bit more cool stuff happening. And kind of tie it all in together. And then going back over here. Same kind of thing. Then back to N. You can see how it kind of starts tying them all together and really giving that feeling like light is cascading over certain parts. Just make sure when you do this, don't go along and do the entire edge. Yes, clouds have silver linings, but you don't want the silver lining to be just one line. Okay. And I'm going to zoom this in a little bit so I can see it. And this is really zoomed in. And leave these little gaps of darkness. It can really help kind of give some interest. want to kind of curve this around. Maybe feel like it's kind of falling off to the edge. Intriguing. So just add as much highlights as you want. Alright. Just kind of bring these together a little bit. And then the other thing you can do, which I've done this in some of my other paintings as well, is you can take, like for example, come down here and take a little bit of this lighter color, throw in like so, go to N, you can add some really cool flash spots. Or maybe there's lightning behind it. Then you can grab a little bit of this, and just kind of around where it is, kind of go in. And that's going to give the feeling of it really kind of lighting up those clouds, but leave some of the darks here and there. Just makes it more interesting. And so you can use those to really kind of pull the eye around. And for this, I'm not trying to overly go for a super finished painting, just kind of playing around with clouds more than anything, just kind of practicing. Alright, so let's go in front of this. Let's maybe give it a little bit of scale. Like that. Let's grab the airbrush. this. Maybe something like that. Put it on 4, just kind of soften it. Control D. Just adding a little bit of highlight. Here and there. Okay. So, hopefully that'll give you some ideas on how to play around with clouds and kind of get kind of a interesting ethereal look. You know, and then from there you can add in different things. You could add in stuff over here to kind of pull even more forward. So like if you wanted to put a person over there or something, you could add in some birds. Add chickens. I haven't loaded my birds. Birds. A vignette. Okay. Oops. Something like that. You could even go lock that layer's transparency. Go back to the marker tool. Go with dry. And then just kind of hint at some and stuff there. That kind of really pushes that off into the distance. There we go. So just some interesting stuff to think about into the foreground. Add a little interest if you want to make this into an actual painting. But I think that'll do it. So I hope you've got something out of this. If you have questions about how to do in the blending or in the highlights or adding more, just ask. I would love to see what you guys do, so just feel free to share it. But other than that, have a great rest of the day. Thanks, and I'll see you on the next one.